why that's the case. Open, close, open, close. So in this situation, it could just be a discrepancy as a once-off type of thing. So because I cannot replicate this, I'm going to go back to Preston and say, hi there, I'm going to get the name so I'm not just talking to myself. Copy that in.
It's because he's using a source attribute instead of an href attribute.
Ah, okay, good eye.
Take source though. No, it is source.
It should be source for the image.
Take source.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I am unable to replicate this myself. Can you check that you are still unable to pass this challenge and report back? Also,
oh wait, use a question mark, not an exclamation point, because that's a question. Sorry, I'm nitpicking.
Right. Well, I forget what I'm typing as I'm typing it, so
yeah, and
also, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is, like, basically we throw this in at the end of every question, like, which browser are you using and which operating system, you know.
He also has two duplicate image tags that are supposed to be in the same A tag.
No, but the regex shouldn't be firing as wrong. The problem is with that the test itself is the regex test, and it's marking it wrong, which it shouldn't do. It shouldn't really care about it. Like, if there's a HTML structure one, it would definitely be that, I'd say. But because of the fact that it is to do with regex, and also he says initially he moves it around. So we can label this as blocked. All that blocked means that we are waiting for a response before we can take further action, because I can't replicate this.
Yeah.
And there's no, he hasn't said what priorities are, anything specific like that. So there's nothing more I can really do to evaluate whether it's a problem or not.
Yeah,
the other thing is that we could have had a pull request that fixed this that didn't say it. So this could be an old issue, although it was 2 minutes ago, so that's unlikely. But it does happen sometimes that we have issues that were fixed and that we don't know that they're fixed.
Which is why we need to stay on top of the pull requests. Which is why normally, like, the first thing I do when I go look at the issues is I look at the pull requests and see if we can merge those in. Because that way you're potentially closing a whole lot of the issues. If you start looking through the issues, then you're going to find a lot of issues that are already actually addressed by existing pull requests.
But you can see that actually with the whole of how Waffle works, that it is no longer in the backlog. It was 2848. It's now waiting for a response, which is what we are now waiting for. Waiting for that person to come back and say, hey, try that again, it did work, or I'm in Safari and it didn't work. Safari, interestingly enough, doesn't seem to like our test suite at all. So that could be the issue, but we don't know because we don't know what browser he's using, and yeah. So there's other variables like that that we have to watch out for, because I'm using Chrome and I know Chrome works, but it could be a case that it's a funny browser.
Right.
But yeah, we can close.
So another thing about Waffle is you can, just like Trello, you can like grab and drag between columns, and these are not like rigorous column, like these aren't rigid. We decided to set up our columns this way. If you use Waffle, you can set it up however you want. And just to show you, just like everything we do is open source, I'm going to open Waffle in an incognito mode, and you'll be able to see this exact same interface. Like, everything we do at freeCodeCamp is as transparent as possible. We want you to see everything that goes on. We want you to come back and like tour the entire sausage factory, essentially, and like know exactly what is going into your sausage. Because
you need to share your screen.
Sure. Because I mean, we believe in transparency. We believe it's a virtue, and open source is all about transparency. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Oops. Show my screen. So I'm sharing my screen with Ben in Berkeley now. So even though I'm in incognito mode, I'm not authenticated, I can still come through and take a look at all the issues. It's a pretty cool app. So now that we've gone through how we deal with issues, how we create issues, how we solve them, how we create a pull request, how we ultimately merge them back into freeCodeCamp, I hope that gives you some insight into what happens behind the scenes when you create an issue and how we deal with that. And we have a lot of people that are actively contributing and managing our issues. And if you're interested in becoming one of those people, if you're frequently hanging out on our issues and commenting on them and helping us gradually get toward solutions to those issues or submit pull requests, please reach out to us, reach out to Berkeley, and we would love to give you a little bit more power in terms of actually accessing and closing issues down the line. But it's basically a meritocracy. Basically, whoever does the work, whoever shows up consistently and is helpful and things like that, those are the people that get more responsibility. That's how open source generally works. It doesn't really matter whether you are somebody who works at a big tech company or you're just some guy in his closet. If you're coming repeatedly to do the work and invest the time and energy, then open source will reward you with the esteem of being a big open source contributor. And I am proud to say that FreeCodeCamp has been a very successful open source project so far, and it's going to continue to succeed, I hope. But as of today, we are the 43rd most starred repository on GitHub, period. The number one is Bootstrap with 80,000 stars. And FreeCodeCamp has, let me see if I can go to the page real quick. We have nearly a quarter of that. So we're getting to kind of close to the extreme, and we're already passing a lot of other big open source projects that you've heard about. So we really appreciate your contributions. Even when you're creating an issue, that's a contribution to FreeCodeCamp, and that's making FreeCodeCamp better. And the more time and energy you can put into those issues, the better. So let's say hypothetically, I want to create a new issue. If you have time to look at these guidelines for contributing, click on this, and you'll see that Ben Schenker, he is one of the campers who's been actively working on improving our issues. This should link to the, okay, here it is. So we have an article on our wiki about contributing issues and checking to make sure that it's a new issue and not a duplicate issue, things like that, like searching for your issue on GitHub. He's written a number of articles, and I even created this little GIF to show you how you can go about searching for an existing issue. We really appreciate any time and energy you can put into creating an issue before you submit it. That said, we don't want to scare people off from creating issues by creating a wall of protocol. So if you don't have time and you think you genuinely discovered something, err on the side of creating an issue, please. While we're talking about the wiki, I wanted to show you some cool things. So let me see if I can pull it up. Bonfire wiki template. So this is just a taste of things to come. Many of you have already been using Camperbot. I hope you all find Camperbot to be really helpful. I'm actually going to take a look at the questions. I'm sure you all have some questions. But I just want to show you very quickly that we plan to have kind of a hint system for our bonfires, where if you hit a wall, you simply can't get through it, you can go into the chat and ask for Bonfire Hint. And actually, I think I have this open here. So you can see that like campers have been asking for hints, and it'll give some basic hints. Right now we're just playing around with the functionality, but this is coming soon. Pretty soon it'll actually give you a series of hints up to the actual solution to that bonfire. If you really cannot do it, you can actually even pull up the solution, and it'll even have a code explanation. So one of the things we're doing right now is we're actively trying to expand the number of wiki articles, and you can see that we've got 357 wiki articles. Many of these are created by Rafael Rodriguez, in New York, and we're going to actively continue to expand these so that CamperBot gets more and more helpful, and so that CamperBot is better able to fetch content for you. And we'll be creating some additional wiki articles on using CamperBot effectively as well. Very quickly, before we get to questions, the one last thing I want to talk about is that we have created some new chat rooms for a variety of things that I just want to quickly highlight. These are all new, so they may not be very active yet, but they will hopefully eventually be quite active. The first one that I want to talk about is Coding Jobs, which I'll just open right here. So Coding Jobs is a place where campers talk about getting coding jobs, interviewing, all of those things that are involved in getting a job that don't necessarily have to do with coding itself, but have to do with proving that to an employer that you're capable of coding. So yes, we do have a chat room where we talk about that. And we talk about, how to read a job posting. We talk about all these things. So we're going to create a lot of wiki articles, and hopefully you all will help us create a lot of great wiki articles about this stuff too. Because obviously at the end of your study or throughout your study, you'll probably want to be going out networking and applying for jobs, just to get better at applying for jobs and hopefully to get a job early on so that you can work and continue to learn and basically get paid to learn. That's the ideal situation. Another room that we have that has been pretty popular is the You Can Do This room. Learning to code is hard, and it takes a lot of effort and a lot of motivation. I mean, learning to code is really a motivational challenge. It's much more of a motivational challenge than an intellectual challenge, because anyone who can sit down and put in the time and the effort and really focus on learning to code and practice can learn to code. You see this time and time again, people coming from completely different walks of life, learning to code, going out and getting a coding job. So we created this You Can Do This room where people can kind of come in and talk about their feelings and any self-doubt they may feel, and just basically keep each other motivated. That's very important. And we even have a You Can Do This Facebook group as well that I can link to later, that basically people just throw up these motivational articles and facts about learning to code. It's pretty exciting. Another room I wanted to talk about is we have our live coding room. And as you know, we stream on Twitch. You are probably watching this on Twitch. You may be watching this on YouTube later, which is fine. But we have a lot of campers who stream, and we're always trying to get more campers streaming. And if you join this room, live coding, you will be able to better participate in a lot of the upcoming streams, and we'll even help you. We'll hop on a call with you and help you actually get streaming, because it's not like a snap your fingers type process. It does take a little bit of time. And then we also have the code review room where you can give and receive constructive criticism regarding your code, which is pretty fun. I mean, you can see Brianna was active in here a few hours ago. So there's a lot of opportunity to share your work and just get feedback on whatever you happen to be doing. We have the Halfway Club, which is a prestigious club of people who have finished freeCodeCamp completely. Essentially, they finished everything but the nonprofit projects. They finished all the base jumps, all the zip lines, all the bonfires, and are ready to start doing the nonprofit projects. Then we also have the wiki room where people can discuss and coordinate expanding the wiki. And we also have an issues room where we can potentially talk about issues. Again, this is a very new room. I don't even know if it's in heavy use. We have a data science room where campers are talking about using data, public data from freeCodeCamp